You in my YouTube channel. In this video, I will explain the chapter Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood by Anis Jung. Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood is written by Anis Jung. The following is an excerpt taken from a book titled Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood. She wanted to depict the pain of a particular class who were neglected by the government to live in the streets. In both these parts, the common part is poverty. It is the greatest artificial curse for the people. Poverty even does not allow a person to die peacefully. Poverty makes a man miserable. In the first part of the story, the author expressed the life struggle of a rag picking boy named Saib, a Alam, whose name was an irony as his name meant Lord of the Universe, but it does not match with his current status. He came to India from Bangladesh along with his family in search of livelihood as the crop field got destroyed in Dhaka, Bangladesh. He used to come early in the morning like a morning bird in search of rags. His age was not for picking up garbage but to go to school. But he can't go as his family can't afford the expenditure of his education. He lived a tension free life as he had no planning for future. Garbage picking became an art for him, and he was also curious to do that as he sometimes found money and other costly items. Saib and his friends did not wear slipper. Saib was interested to study, but no schools were there in his surroundings. And his young asked Saib Alam if he would come to school opened by her. He answered her in affirmation. After some days, Saif came to Anis Jung and asked her if her school was ready. She was ashamed as he made a false promise. So from this part, we got to know that Saif Alam was also curious to come to school. He wanted to get education, he wanted to change his life, but he couldn't afford it. Anis Jung was ashamed because of her false promise, but she knew very well that these types of promises were available a lot. Anis Jung wanted to know the cause of not wearing slipper from them, and they gave all types of answers. Their answers made her think about the other boys who also moved barefooted. To discuss the value of slipper, she also mentions a story from Udupi. The priest's son often prayed to God for having a pair of slipper, and when the child got it, he again prays to God so that it could not be lost. Moving without slipper clearly exposed the poverty of the people, but they are not ready to accept it. For them, it was only a part of tradition. Anis Jung went to Simapuri to see the condition of rag pickers. Not only Saib Alam's family, but 10,000 rag pickers also lived there. They lived in unhygienic way. Their houses were poorly built. The houses were surrounded by drainage water. The area was close to Delhi, but metaphorically it was far away from Delhi as the place lacked all the basic requirements. There is no hospital, school, or transport facilities. They had no ID cards. They had no ID cards. They are used as a vote bank. Nobody thought about them. One day, Saif Alam was watching a tennis match out of the ground and wearing discarded tennis shoes. Anis Jung thought that the game would be out of his reach due to his poverty. He said that he entered into the garden when nobody was there. Being a rag picker, he lived a happy life as he had no expectation from his life. But on later he started working under a tea stall owner. Anish saw him going with a milk canister, and it seemed to her that the weight of the canister was very heavy in comparison to his garbage bag. As being a rag picker, he was his own master, but as a worker under the tea stall owner, he was not he was no longer his own master, and he became the servant. So after that, this part of the story completed. So uh, uh, you can understand the pain of Saive Alam and which changes would happen. So after the last day of his life, no changes would come to his life.